We just recently cut off, but we want to get straight back to the question, Ian. What are the improvements cloud computing can make in terms of how businesses can go about it, how they can implement it? What are the systems they need in terms of improve on their motto?
Sure. So I'll give you two sides of the challenge. Firstly, let me precede with the biggest challenge I see with businesses with cloud, the term computing, isn't the technology or the commercials any longer, or the availability of what they want to do. There is so much richness available that's affordable. So I've said to businesses is the impeder is not whether what you want to achieve can be sold by something out there and whether you can afford it. It's your receptiveness and emotional ability to change and get rid of the old. And that's what's holding business.
So for a business to go for a transformation.
Yeah, a lot of companies are talking digital transformation. Digital transformation is
brilliant
hard,
advice.
Right? But that's the hard bit in discussions with large, small, different companies, different industries. I found is the thing that stops them doing it is lethargy. The competition to them being successful and moving forward isn't their competition or etc. or the technology or it's too costly. It's their ability and receptiveness to get on with it. So projects get deferred. People say, we'll get to that in a year or two because it feels hard. Now the example I'll give, if I grab my iPhone, I used to be a BlackBerry advocate. Through and through, wouldn't move off it. I'm on BlackBerry, I'm not changing. I had an iPhone, stuck it in a drawer, when you're free upgrades, etc. So I'll have a look at it and get to it. Because it felt hard. And then my worry was, in moving stuff over, am I going to lose stuff? And the day I do it, might take a bit. Am I going to be bogged down for 2 or 3 days trying to figure out, that hasn't worked, and this isn't, I've lost my contacts, all this stuff, right? So I've done it myself. When I actually got to it, something went wrong on the BlackBerry, I have to do it. I've got a compelling reason now of pain, rather than thinking about the gain I might get. And it took me 2 hours, the whole thing was over, fully working, I've never looked back. So I use that as a context of it's very easy to find excuses to not do something differently because you're comfortable with what you've got.
So user interface is very important.
Well,
user experience.
Well, just in general, people often don't change until the pain of what they've got becomes so great it forces them to. It's the wrong approach.
Right?
And
I totally agree.
And let me give you the example. I talk about cloud and Internet of Things and so all the new technologies we see today. We're in a time of mass, not destruction, a mass disruption. Okay?
Totally.
And the example many people use, I'll give you one example, and the elite or more recent, is Blockbuster Video. No one had anything against them, good brand, we all used it, it's gone. 2,500 stores, major global brand, owned and dominated that market, couldn't lose, they lost. Along came Netflix, along came LoveFilm, which is now part of Amazon, and disrupted the whole market through delivering the customer experience in a different way, quicker, faster, cheaper, easier. That the customers went, this is great. I don't. Nothing against Blockbuster, but they're not doing this.
They're not doing
this is serving me better. Wow, I love this, and customers just flock to it, put them out of business. And I'd liken that to today's market.
Great advice, guys.
Today's market example would be Uber. We've seen it in the taxi market, disruption of how people get their vehicle. And taxi drivers up in arms, and I appreciate why, okay? Because historically it's always worked that way, and thanks very much. Uber has come in with using technology and cloud to disrupt a market, and the customer hasn't got anything against taxi drivers or the old way of doing it. It's just someone's offered on a plate something which is more convenient, faster, quicker, easier. And Uber's now worth 53 billion, by the way, in under about 5 years, 6 years of being in business. We've never seen that before. The new disruption, and this is the one a lot of people haven't heard of, is, and on the back of what Uber's achieved, Uber's testing in the US, Uber Eats.
Wow.
Okay, which is food delivery. So think of Just Eat, think of Hungry House. They've disrupted that market and added value and changed how a lot of people order food and get takeaway. Uber is going to now become a disruptor of disruptors. It's in early stages, but what I foresee is we're going to see an Uber that takes an underlying platform that's good at moving something, a vehicle, to get something from A to B very effectively for
Are you
a
talking
customer.
also driverless?
Well, forget the
Doesn't
driver's
matter.
piece.
Yeah,
Here's where I think
straight
we're
to
going
the
to see
point.
Uber go
Of
as a
course.
platform.
Right.
They currently move people, they're testing moving food. What about packages? What about delivery of flowers? Think about simple where this is going to go. You have one application, Uber, and it works with the driver, and as the driver, you're picking you up from A to take you to B. And as you're approaching B, Uber presents to you, actually there's a package to be picked up 5 minutes around the corner. Do you want to deliver a package? And then there's another passenger 2 minutes on from there. So you could be delivering, we can get utilisation of that vehicle, which we don't own and don't have any cost of, to deliver anything to anywhere as effectively as we can. You're going to tell me the customers aren't going to want that. The brand's there, so you're going to take Uber for package delivery. This is fantastic. So we're going to see the likes of those companies disrupting the package delivery, anything that's delivery. Okay, so this is a time when
this is a massive digital disruption going
absolutely.
on.
Any
so
business
any
could
business
be disrupted by some new unicorn company
right.
who comes in and says, I haven't got all the legacy holding me back. And this is the key to think about. These new firms
Great tips, guys.
are doing it because they don't have the ball and chain around them of, yeah, we're not doing that because I'm sure Blockbuster had those discussions, right? Oh, what's Netflix doing? Yeah, but we'd have to change this.
I don't think Blockbuster's actually sort of evolved in terms of how other businesses are doing it, hence this is why they've probably gone into liquidation.
They could have been Netflix.
They could have been Netflix.
They had the brand.
Yeah, they had the brand.
But I think what would have happened is there would have been excuses going on if it feels too hard.
Yes.
And we've got all of this over here, all this legacy. We're putting that at risk,
right?
But someone else is going to put it at risk for you. So what I always say to people was, don't sit on your laurels. Just because you're number one today, we've got so many examples across the markets and across countries. And
Amazon
the world
could be
now.
another one as well.
Well, Amazon's about to disrupt home shopping, right, in terms of food, because they're delivering food just started. And Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Asda, they're all worried because Amazon has got a business model of delivering a product quicker, faster, cheaper. And who hasn't got an Amazon account?
I don't think anyone has everyone has an Amazon account today.
And all of this stuff we're talking about is based on the benefits and the utilisation of cloud computing, but none of them, when you use those, you're not using Uber or Amazon because it's cloud, you're using it because of what it does for you as the outcome as a customer. And that's what's going to continue, and that's what businesses need to be thinking of. Your customer thinks differently,
Great
and
advice.
there's no going back. Our minds aren't going to go back to how we used to think. Millennials and Zs are now purchasers.
So the overall overview take, because I don't want to I want to sort of conclude this video, is that your overview of cloud computing is putting the customer first. Because I think at the end of the day, I think the customers are the ones where they do want a delivery to their door. They do want to tap on an app and say, okay, right, we need this pizza order, say for this evening. And so you're saying that businesses need to do more. Especially smaller startups who do want to disrupt
well,
the
that's
tech
where
industry.
they've really got
this is a big opportunity between, say, a large player and a small player. Let's conclude this interview. What do you think small startups should do in terms of implementing this if they do want to sort of break and disrupt the tech industry?
So what we're saying, I've seen a lot of unicorn companies or cloud first companies is they're coming into this business and they're taking advantage because they've got a clean slate.
Yeah.
That's the real key to the startup. You've got a clean slate. They can pick and choose all the new stuff because they haven't got any old stuff to migrate from. They haven't got any old stuff that they've got licensed into 2 or 3 year contracts, and they haven't got people who are saying, yeah, but we've always done it this way, and I want job protection. I want to keep the old thing that's harder to manage and use and look after, because then you need me to look after it. Whereas this cloud stuff, all my skills have to change and be different. So there's a lot of resistance from people.
So a lot of people will have to change their technical skills in terms of...
Absolutely, that's happening today. And I've seen recent global stats that a third of technology or technologists or IT people worldwide will retire in the next 10 years. So
we need a younger generation.
I think we're going to see an acceleration of these new technologies. They're coming down in price. They're getting more feature rich.
Brilliant tips,
and
guys.
And the people that are coming into business, millennials, are going to look at anyone who's got a box there as an email server, for example, and say, why do you have that? Put it in the cloud. You know, we shouldn't be managing the infrastructure. What we should be managing is how do we utilise this to empower effectiveness in our business and better service delivery to customers. Not we're worried about break fix and looking after the technology itself. Let someone else do that.
Yeah.
We can do it more effectively, faster, quicker, cheaper. Let's worry about how we tune it to our business.
Right.
Put business value and rules into these products. That's where the value is, not installing it on a box, running it and maintaining it. That's mundane.
Right.
Let someone else do it, and that's what the cloud provider will do for you.
I think that's great advice, Ian. I think the way startups, the advice that Ian gives is actually experienced advice, because for a startup to implement cloud computing, they need to know what they're doing. They need to upgrade their skills, and obviously, if they do want to disrupt the tech industry, like Ian Moyse says, it's very important that you do follow his comments and his advice in terms of the way you can sort of implement cloud computing and advance into the tech industry. Anyway, I'd like to wrap up this interview. Ian did come out of his way to give his free time, and it's a privilege to actually meet him. We only met today, and the advice he's giving is great. Please do follow him on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and so forth. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Ian, about cloud computing? Is there one final thing you'd like to say? I mean, there's so much we can talk about. It's the 2 videos we've done now. So
yeah, the simple thing I'd say is be open to it. Don't get hung up on the articles around data, worried about data. Where's my data? There are things, diligence you need to go through. Data's
also changing, guys, and I do want to talk about that in my next interview. I think data intelligence, in the way in terms of you actually deal with your content, is going to be more simplified and more modified. It's not going to be a place where you're sort of going to be scraping for content elsewhere. It's going to be a place where it's going to be put into a system and so forth, come to your needs. So,
but the key thing there is not to have excuses for cloud, right?
Yes.
Do your diligence, ask questions, don't just jump in and do it without even thinking about it, but don't get stuck on the barriers that a lot of people get stuck on. Here's 10 reasons I can't do it, so I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. Think, how do I overcome these? What questions do I need to ask so that I can do it and take advantage? The can-doers are the ones that are suddenly being incredibly successful, and
doing quite well.
And there's so many examples of it. There's the big ones.
Airbnb. Yes.
I've already mentioned Uber.
Yeah.
And we can keep going. And there's companies that you probably don't realise are cloud. Shazam, for example, that we have on our phones. If one of the people are cheating on a pub quiz on the music. But that's a cloud application. Mm-hmm. It's a very small app on here, but the real power and cleverness of that is being done somewhere in a big data centre, analysing, and how does it do that? No one thinks about it. That's a cloud application. It's just you don't see it because it's not running on here. You couldn't do that. But you could never have delivered that before, and that's an
amazing achievement.
That's going to disrupt that's already starting to disrupt the advertising industry. On TV you see Shazam. Mm-hmm. It's the first time advertisers have been able to track interaction. That advert, how many people,
or even music,
listen to the music on the ad, and the money. Shazam is making money off the back of the data analysis it's got, not off of you as a user doing this.
Right.
It can predict the #1 record this week with about high 90s accuracy. No one's ever been able to do that before.
And you know what the best thing is, Ian? It actually works, Shazam. Loads of youngsters are actually sort of downloading the app. They're actually using it. I mean, it's amazing what cloud computing does.
People are using it, not because it's cloud, because of, wow, look what it does.
Look what that is,
And then, so we're all using cloud without even knowing it. That's the reality. And it's going to grow and grow and grow. The minute you put the term cloud on it and someone's looking at it, the fears come up. So
to conclude this interview, if you can do it better and more wiser, then let it be.
Get rid of the barriers, be open-minded, do your diligence, but take advantage of what's available.
Great tips, guys.
Because it'll help you be more successful, whether it's internally reducing costs, efficiency, quicker to do things, or whether it's actually customer-facing serving them better.
Great tips, guys. Okay, thanks, Ian, for your time. I think it's what a wonderful interview I had with him. I mean, the advice he's giving is great, and please do take this. Please do follow me on Web Content Specialists. I'm on the Twitter advocate, and if you do, we're also on Facebook, so please do follow me, and we'd like to tune in next time. Thanks very much. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.
Bye.